Hello there, Senators, and welcome back to Star Wars Democracy. We are literally just 6 days away from the Ahsoka series, and we're going to be breaking it all down tonight over the next course of probably the hour or so. We're just going to be talking about Ahsoka and Star Wars and all that we can expect based off of the leaks and rumors that are at this point unconfirmed, but we're going to be talking about it all. I think it's really interesting. By the end of the night, probably won't hear anything during this stream just because I won't be on Twitter. But supposedly Disneyland is, or it's either Disneyland or Disney World is going to be hosting a screening. I believe it's for the first 2 episodes, just like we're going to see next week. And I'm really excited to see what the consensus is after those two videos. Stay off of Twitter or any social media for that matter if you don't want to see what's going on, because I know I think there's already screeners going out besides the Disneyland screening, and there are definitely some spoilers out there. We're not going to be covering anything spoilery tonight, just more of the leaks and rumors. So I guess there's a potential for a spoiler warning if you don't want to know any of the leaks and rumors, but at this point I think we all kind of do. So looking forward to chatting with you all tonight. Senator Tony, first in the chat. Thank you so much, Tony. He says hi. Hello there to you, Tony. Good to see you. So, yeah, we're just going to be breaking pretty much everything down, like I said, that we know about the Ahsoka show. All the way from what we think is going to happen in episode 1, all the way to what we think is going to happen at the end of the season in episode 8. And so I guess let's just start off with episode 1. We're going to save our predictions for what we think will happen in the first 2 episodes until next week. So on Tuesday, August 22nd, the day before Ahsoka comes out, make sure you come back to the channel, same time, 8 p.m. Central Time, where we're going to be talking about our predictions on what we think is going to happen in the Ahsoka show. But this is what we know so far. This is everything that we know is potentially going to be happening in the Ahsoka show. We know that we're going to be getting Baylan Skoll and Shin Hati, these dark side Force users, perhaps fallen Jedi as they've been called. Baylan, we know, survived Order 66. I think there's a lot of discussion on who Shin is going to be. It sounds like Shin might be obviously the apprentice of Baylan, but we don't know really the age of Shin. We don't know if Shin was with Baylan at the time of Order 66, or maybe Baylan found her after Order 66, took her to be his Padawan, and maybe they escaped into the New Beyond. That's a possibility as well. And so we don't know a lot about them, but we know that they are dark side Force users, dark Jedi, who could potentially be mercenaries for Thrawn. I think a question a lot of people have, though, is do they know who Thrawn is? Because when we hear him in the trailer, I think it's Baylan or Shin says, "What happens when we find Thrawn?" And then it cuts to Morgan Elsbeth, who we believe to be a Night Sister, or as someone called them today, a Light Sister. Maybe she used a lighter version of the Force than dark side magic. She does the hand motion and illuminates the star map. And then Baylan, after Shin says, "What happens once we find Thrawn?" says, "Power." Do they know who Thrawn is? I mean, it kind of sounds like they don't know who Thrawn is. They're trying to find Thrawn to use this power because they know that he holds some type of power. One of my theories is perhaps they know Thrawn, whatever power that Thrawn holds. Jumping ahead here, but when they go to find Ezra in the New Beyond, it's said that the New Beyond is a place where the Night Sisters originated from. Dark side Force magic. Maybe Thrawn's been able to dabble in a little bit of that, and these Baylan and Shin know what he's capable of, and so it's possible that they're trying to tap into that dark side magic. But I think what we can expect to see in the first probably half of the season is Ahsoka and Sabine and Hera and the New Republic starting to get glimpses of what Thrawn's plan is going to be. So in the trailer, we hear Ahsoka say, "I've heard rumors of Thrawn's return," or something along those lines. So she's really going to be hearing about what Thrawn's plan is. She may bring it up to Hera and be like, "Hey, these are the things that I'm hearing. Um, can you go to the New Republic and ask for support?" Which we are assuming, but we can safely assume that the New Republic is not going to be quick to act on these threats. We know that from, I believe, material, like canon material that's already out there, but even like recent shows like The Mandalorian season 3, and The Mandalorian season 2, when Carson Teva, I think Carson Teva is his name, was talking about how he's feeling like something's happening out in the outer parts of the galaxy. And we tell that he's trying to take it seriously. And then I think in The Mandalorian season 3, the episode with Zeb is kind of alluding to the fact that he doesn't think there's going to be a swift response by the hands of the New Republic. And so the New Republic is not going to be quick to act, if they're going to act at all. And I think that we're going to see Hera make an appeal. Obviously, I think we can even see that in the trailer, make an appeal to the New Republic leaders and try to get them to jump in and help. And when they realize that they're not going to be jumping in and helping, I think that's when we're going to see Hera to go to Ahsoka and be like, "Listen, I can't get you help, but I know who can help you, Sabine." And then we'll talk about Sabine and Ahsoka's history and what's going on there. Senator Tony says, "I think Shin and Sabine are the same age. It's possible. It's definitely possible. I don't think would Sabine have been alive at the time of Order 66? I guess I'm not quite sure how old Sabine is. Maybe 20? I don't know, somewhere between 18 and 25. So yeah, they may have been alive during um, that time. I'm not sure." Senator Tony says, "I'm in favor of the storyline for the early episodes." Yeah, I think that it would be. Obviously, I think that's probably what we're going to see um, going on during those first couple episodes, is grappling with the new threat of the new beyond, and what's coming from the new beyond, being Thrawn. And so that'll be really, really interesting to see that. And like I said, I think that's where Ahsoka's going to hear things, and that's where she's going to want to go and get Sabine and recruit Sabine to come help. Senator Tony says Wikipedia. Okay, so it's confirmed on Wikipedia. Does Wikipedia say how old they are, Senator Tony? I don't know if it does or not, but I would be curious to know how old they are. Let's see. Have a new senator in the chat here. SB says, "Truth be told, I'm a bit disappointed if Sabine is force sensitive, but I think the series will be good." I agree with you, SB. We talked about this last night on the stream. I have mixed feelings about the whole Sabine force sensitivity thing. Like I said, we talked about it last night, how at one point it seemed like they were just kind of playing with us and just messing with us in the marketing. Oh, Sabine says master, kind of in a sarcastic tone. Like, does she really mean that? We weren't sure. But lately they've just ramped it up, right? So now they're really playing with the idea that Sabine literally is the apprentice to Ahsoka. And whether or not Sabine is force sensitive is yet to be found out. But we know in some way, shape, or form, between the trailer that shows Ahsoka and Sabine fighting with looks like wooden rods, kind of like lightsabers. Sabine has the helmet that might be like a fencing type helmet. We know from that, on top of the master sarcastic kind of scene, to the Ezra Bridger hologram telling Sabine what it takes to be a Jedi. Like, Sabine is training to be a Jedi. I think that is all but confirmed at this point, but what's not confirmed is if she's force sensitive. And I'm not going to lie, it will concern me if Sabine becomes force sensitive. Not like, I don't like there to be a bunch of force sensitive Mandalorians. It's, to me, they're opposed parties, right? There shouldn't be a ton of Mandalorian Jedis because of their history and how different the culture is. Yet it would be cool, like Senator Tony talked about, maybe they repair the Darksaber in some way, shape, or form, and Sabine's destiny is to become the ruler of Mandalore. I don't know. I just know, not a huge fan of the force sensitivity thing, but I also trust in Dave Filoni. Senator Tony says, born 21 BBY, Mandalore. Okay, so 21 BBY, that would be after Order 66, I believe. But my math might be a little bit before Order 66, actually. Did Order 66 happen in 19 BBY? Someone will have to check my math on that. I can't remember for sure. So either way, it's going to be around Order 66. Shin Hati, yes, is the apprentice's name, Tony, to Balin Skull. So Shin Hati would be his apprentice. Let's see. Senator Tony says yes. Okay, so that's the same year, Order 6619 BBY. Okay, so they would be, if they were born the same year, they would be 2 at the time of Order 66. So that's interesting that they were born at the same time. SB says, I think it did. Gotcha. Cool. That's awesome. Let's see. Shin Hati's birth date is being hidden. Oh, so we don't know for sure. We're just expecting them to be about the same age. So if they are the same age, then that definitely would pretty much confirm, if we think that they're the same age, that Shin Hati, if Shin would have been 2 at the time of Order 66, there's no way she would have been a Jedi. So maybe Balin really did find her. I've also heard theories that maybe Shin Hati is Balin Skull's daughter. Possibly. Could be interesting. I don't know. It'll be really interesting to see that relationship between Balin and Shin, and especially if Shin was never part of the Jedi. Obviously, she's not going to have any memory or knowledge of what the Jedi used to be, whereas Ahsoka definitely does. And then Sabine is learning to be a Jedi. And I think we'll see Sabine. I don't think I think she has the short hair when she's training with Ahsoka in the trailers. So I think that'll be later on in the season. But at the beginning, obviously, we'll see long hair Sabine. And I don't really know how much of Sabine we're actually going to see. I'm hoping that a lot of the beginning part of the season will be Ahsoka kind of running missions, perhaps for the New Republic, and kind of getting things taken care of. In fact, what I think will probably happen is Balin and Shin will be out there causing ruckus, trying to find Thrawn or doing missions for Thrawn. And the New Republic is like, hey, we got people with lightsabers out there. You need to go combat them, Ahsoka. And Hera's like, hey, I need you, Ahsoka, to go find these people with lightsabers. And they do that, which ends up being where Ahsoka finds out about Thrawn and his plan. And then she goes to Hera, and then Hera's like, well, you know who can help you with this? Sabine. And then we'll see long hair Sabine and kind of learn a little bit more of their history. I think that's what we can expect. Senator SB says, I think Shin and Balin will be the most interesting part of the show. I actually kind of agree with that. I'm really excited to see what Dave Filoni does with the writing with these two characters. Even down to the orange lightsaber. There's just so much thought into these characters. I can feel that, and I think it'll be really cool to see where he takes them. It's really sad Ray Stevenson isn't here to get to experience the fan reception of him, because he's absolutely fantastic in the trailers. I mean, if we're going to compare Balin to what we see with the Grand Inquisitor and Kenobi, there's not even a comparison. I mean, Ray Stevenson is going to knock this character out of the park. Not that the actor, I can't remember what his name is, who played the Grand Inquisitor, didn't do a good job. It's just, you can tell that there's more thought and more love that's going to be put into this character. So that'll be absolutely fantastic. SB says, yes, it's very sad he died. It is. But I know that the fan reception of that character is going to be absolutely fantastic. So, Senator SB says, I try to pretend Kenobi didn't happen. I am with you. I was actually talking about that in another stream. I was in a chat in another stream earlier today. And we're talking about Kenobi, right? And about Anakin, Hayden's return as Anakin, and how it feels just so different this time. I said in the chat, to me, this is Hayden's return to Star Wars. Like, yes, did the fans receive him very well in Kenobi? Absolutely, 100%. I'm sure he was very happy to be back in Kenobi. But as far as I'm concerned, this is when he's making his return, because we really didn't get to see all that much of Hayden in the first place for Kenobi. Just little scenes here and there. Obviously, seeing him as Vader was amazing, but this is his return, especially as if we'll see him as Anakin in the Clone Wars era, and then Anakin's Force Ghost would just be absolutely phenomenal, which we'll get into Anakin's Force Ghost here in a little bit. So, um, Senator Tony says the actor for Balin said in an interview that he doesn't know where his character will progress to. That interview was done after completion of season 1. Yeah, I don't think that Balin is going to die. Perhaps maybe Shin dies. I don't know. But I think that there's more to be told of Balin's story. I guess we'll just have to see what happens. And that's what Senator Tony says here. Thus leads to Balin's character showing up in season 2. So, we'll see what happens, right? We'll see what happens. So yeah, that's kind of what I'm expecting to happen in the first probably 2-ish episodes. Is Ahsoka just kind of learning about the threat. We'll get into more details on my actual full predictions next week. But I'm really, really, really excited for that first couple episodes, because I think that that's really we're going to explore where Ahsoka is in her journey. And as I think as she starts to battle it out with Balin and Shin, and then bringing back Sabine, I think we could see that transition where Sabine cuts her hair and they're ready just to go at it with Balin and Shin. And then from there, I think once they recognize the need to go out and find Ezra, is potentially where we could see Ahsoka's character shift kind of happen. And I really think that probably somewhere between episodes 2 and episodes 5, I think we're going to see Ahsoka go to that Jedi temple for knowledge. And we talked about this a lot last night, where this is potentially where Ahsoka could have a lot of those flashback scenes or visions in a Jedi temple, because whenever she's going to have these battles with Balin, she's going to realize that, I think at this point she still feels a lot of guilt for what happened to Anakin and his turn to the dark side. And I think, like I said, talked about it last night, but Balin is really going to play into that idea, knowing who Ahsoka is. Anakin spoke highly of you, and knowing who Anakin was, really play into the fact that, he says not many didn't know what he became or something like that, and blame Ahsoka for Anakin's turn to the dark side. I think that is really something that's going to be hit home in that interaction we see in the trailer where they battle it out, is he's going to blame Ahsoka, which will be fantastic dialogue for sure. Really make for an emotionally gripping scene. But it will be really cool to see that happen, see how Ahsoka deals with that. And then I think in an attempt to gather knowledge, she'll go to a Jedi temple and have visions of Anakin, and potentially Force Ghost Anakin will show up and tell her, like, this is what you have to do. This is what you were meant for. This is your destiny. Go out and defeat this enemy. And, I think what's really interesting about Thrawn is he isn't a Sith. He isn't a Force user, which is not something typical. We talked about this last week about how, Thrawn is right up there with Palpatine. They can hold their own against each other because they have that manipulative mindset and that strategic mindset. But I think what is going to happen is, yes, will Thrawn probably be the villain of this show? Absolutely. 100% the main villain, at least the biggest villain. But I think that the point of Thrawn, and we'll get into his novel again soon, but Thrawn is concerned with an even bigger threat. That's why he comes into the known galaxy in the first place, because he's trying to gain the Empire, who he believes is strong militarily. He wants the Empire support to defend against an even larger threat in the New Beyond, potentially. And so Anakin, I think, is going to show up, like I said, probably somewhere between episode 3 and episode 5, I hope at the Jedi Temple, and tell Ahsoka, like, This is what you were meant to do. Just as my destiny ultimately was to become Vader, and I was redeemed by Luke, which, side note, when does she meet Luke? Maybe we'll find out in this series. Just as that was my destiny, your destiny was fulfilled when you were taken into the world between worlds by Ezra, because there's something dark out there coming. And Grand Admiral Thrawn is just the beginning. But Ahsoka, you need to go out there and fix it. This is your destiny. And we know that Ahsoka, who nicknames herself Ashla, and Ashla is synonymous for the light. And then we know the connection Ahsoka has with the daughter. Ahsoka is the embodiment of the light side of the Force. Her destiny is beyond, I think, what we can comprehend at this point. I'm so excited to see where Dave Filoni takes this. But I think Anakin is going to give her the pep talk of like, you can do this, Ahsoka, which I think is where that line comes from. I know you can do this, Ahsoka. So I hope we get to see that that scene. And then that's when she becomes Ahsoka the White. I am still holding out, Senator Tony, that Ahsoka becomes Ahsoka the White. And that we don't see it at the end of the series. We see it midway through the series. That's what I want to see. That's what I'm calling. I really hope that's when we get to. So, well, I'm hoping she becomes Ahsoka the White, and then the rumors are that the Rebels scene will probably take place somewhere around episode 5, the epilogue scene, that is. Whether it be the end of episode 4, beginning of episode 5, it could be in the middle of an episode. We don't know. I think that is when it's supposed to be rumored to take place. I think we could see that time jump probably before that. And then I think that after, when we see obviously that scene, that's when will probably start to ramp back up Sabine's training, and then take her and go to the New Beyond where they find Ezra. Now remember, if it is episode 4, episode 5 will be the latter half of the season, which if it follows the same pattern as the other shows, we can expect that most of the footage that we've seen in the trailer is indeed from only like episodes 1 to maybe episodes 4. So we haven't even seen anything in the latter part of the trailer, or in the latter part of the seasons from the trailers, which is just fantastic. It's just fantastic. Senator Tony says requiring a recast for Baylan. I don't know if they will or not, Senator Tony. But I think it'll be such a great character. It'll be hard not to, as sad as it is. SB says, I don't know who could fill Ray Stevenson's shoes, though. He looks amazing. He does. Will fit that part to a T. He himself, and then also the costume is fabulous. Like I said, it's amazing. Like this character, you can just tell already has so much more thought behind him than the Inquisitor. Granted, Dave Filoni was the same one who came up with the Grand Inquisitor, and likely also came up with Ray Stevenson's character Baylan. But you can just tell that, in particular for the live action adaptation, the Grand Inquisitor just there wasn't a lot of care in the design or anything. And this is different. Like you can tell that there's there's a strategy behind Baylan's appearance. And then Senator Tony says SB agreed. And then Senator Tony follows up and says the trailer showed a revised picture of her holding the Ashlar rod wearing a dark brown cape. Okay, hold on. There is a trailer showing a revised picture of her holding the Ashla rod wearing a dark brown cape. Tony, you're gonna have to post that in the Discord. Are you saying, or let me know in the chat at least, are you saying that in the trailer we can see her holding the rod, the staff? I'm slightly confused. Yeah, if that is true, that will be amazing. Use AI for Baylan. What do you all think? Kind of like it's similar to the Chadwick Boseman thing, right? Um, I don't know. I think that they'll just have to do a Cara Dune type of thing, honestly. I mean, Cara Dune was a well-beloved Star Wars character as well, and they had to find a way to get around that. And so far they did. I don't know how good of a job they did, but they did. So I think it'll probably be more like that. I don't think that they'll go the AI route. Journeyman, Senator Journeyman, thank you for showing up to the stream. Says, is anyone else nervous for the series as the date is upon us? Yes, very nervous. Very nervous indeed. Yet, I don't know if you saw this, Journeyman. I'm going to backtrack a little bit, everyone. But they're doing, I think the press screening started today. And they're also doing like a showing at like Disneyland or Disney World. Which I think by the end of the stream, I'll probably get on X or Twitter, whatever it's called now. Be very cautious if you go on the internets within the next couple of days, because apparently there are spoilers everywhere. And I don't think I mentioned this at the beginning of the stream, but as an FYI, I won't say I don't know the spoilers. I haven't seen the spoilers, but the people who are saying that have seen the spoilers are saying it is absolutely amazing right from the get-go. Right from the get-go. As soon as you say go on the series, they're saying it's game on. Like there's no like we are in good hands. So I guess that answers your question. Yes, I'm nervous just because of Star Wars and we've been so disappointed with the content lately, but that gives me hope. I mean, people who have seen the first two episodes says they're absolutely phenomenal. The one with Dave doing the narration, really? So you'll still have to put that in the Discord. It's not that I don't believe you, Senator. It's just I'm cautiously optimistic. You can't get my hopes up. But I know you are an Ahsoka the White fan. I am as well. I hope we get to see that epilogue, and I hope Dave doesn't change it. And as much as I think he might, and I made the video saying there could be bad news about the Star Wars epilogue being changed, I also have this part of me like that's saying he won't change it. He made that scene. So I don't know. We'll see. Senator Tony says, Journeyman, I am. That's funny. Journeyman, I've been drinking more blue milk lately. That's hilarious. Senator SB says, I am nervous, but for the first time in a long time, I have hope about the series. I would agree, SB. This show just feels different. Like I said, this feels like, as much as this is going to be about Ahsoka, there's so much love being put into it. Like, I'm so excited to see Ahsoka, but for the first time in a long time with the Star Wars project, like everything is exciting to me. Everything is exciting to me. And so it's hard for me not to be excited. I have hope about this one. Every part of the series excites me, from Thrawn to the New Beyond to Ahsoka to Ezra to Sabine. Everything about it is exciting. And the thing is they're not holding back. They're not holding back on anything. They literally put Hayden's portrayal of Anakin in the trailer with new dialogue. If that's in a trailer, imagine what's going to be in the show. Just crazy. Just crazy. SB says they're watching it as we speak at D23 Orlando. Okay, so it is in Orlando, obviously Disney World. Stay off the internet if you don't want it to get spoiled. I'm telling you, people are saying it's all over the place. Luckily, I haven't seen it yet. I'm staying off the best that I can. But I also like to be fueled up by the people who have seen the leaks and are saying they're absolutely amazing and can confirm that it's amazing, that it's hard for me not to go on there and soak up those reactions, even though I don't want to be spoiled. And that's something I'll point out. You won't find any spoilers. We're just talking about the rumors right now. We're not going to be I'm not going to actively seek out the spoilers and discuss them on the stream. So no spoilers here. Especially if you do know the spoilers and you watch the stream, please don't post them in the comments or anything like that. Senator Tony says it was posted in the chat room by yourself on 8/14. I don't remember that. Maybe we're not thinking about the same thing. It's the staff that we see at the end of Star Wars Rebels, Tony? Let me know. 2 items I caught on the latest Ahsoka behind the scenes video, the 7-minute one. That was a fantastic one way. There seems to be a retcon for Ahsoka the White to Ahsoka the Brown with this picture. I don't see the picture. It doesn't pop up, but um, go ahead and put it in the Discord, and I'll take a look at it, and we can discuss it in the Discord. Um, I'm not so sure that Ahsoka the Brown is going to be a thing. I think that Ahsoka the Gray will be a thing. Maybe she has brown robes at the beginning. But as you know, because I think you were in the comments section of one of my videos, there's a Rosario Dawson quote that basically discusses the fact that, well, number one, this wasn't in the quote, but Rosario Dawson is saying episode 5 is her favorite of the series, which rumors are we're going to be saying potentially Loth Wolves and things like that. So I think that's kind of where the Star Wars Rebels epilogue will take place, is around that episode 5 mark. I think that she's going to. Rosario has says that Ahsoka becomes Ahsoka the White in some way, shape, or form. In some way, shape, or form, I think we'll see Ahsoka the White before the end of the series, and I think it's probably going to happen sooner rather than later. SB says, it feels like Star Wars. Lightsabers, interesting characters, nostalgia, compelling story. It's the whole package, right? I mean, there's nothing that's going to be disappointing about this. And it's just, again, this Kenobi was supposed to be this. And it was. It was this for a little bit. I remember at the beginning, before it aired at Star Wars Celebration, like, it was all the hype. We were all looking forward to it. I think Kenobi had a 2-episode premiere as well. But the problem with that was, I remember, like, episode 1 was fine. Episode 2, you could tell, okay, this is not going to go the way that we think it's going to go. And then by the end of episode 2, there was already division amongst the whole Reva Kenobi, Reva knows Vader type of thing. And I just don't think that's going to happen in this one. So all around, Ahsoka is shaping up to be what we've waited for a long time. And as far as I'm concerned, this is Hayden Christensen's return to Star Wars. So Journeyman says, like me, I don't want to get spoiled. Friends and family stay away from me. Yeah, do not go on Twitter, which I don't even think you have X or Twitter or whatever it's called now. So you don't need to worry about it. But I know you have Instagram, so stay away from Instagram. It's in the Discord. Okay, I'm going to check the Discord after this. But can anyone else confirm to me that we've seen Ahsoka with her staff in one of the trailers? Because Tony's throwing me for a real loop here. I don't think that we've seen Ahsoka with her staff in the trailers. Have we, Tony? I don't know. It'll give me something to look forward to after the stream. I'll go check out my Discord. Mike is in the chat. He says, oh yeah, man, this show, Anakin, Ahsoka, Ghost Crew, Thrawn, doesn't get much more hype than this. It absolutely does not. I know like I said, we were talking about it in your stream today about how this is what feels like Anakin or Hayden's return to Star Wars. And Lucasfilm is going all in on it behind the marketing. Haven't seen anything like this in a long time. Not even The Mandalorian season 3. You have to wonder if maybe they were used, like, some of the resources they were going to use from The Mandalorian season 3. They were like, forget it. Let's just throw it all at Ahsoka. We know that the real winners with Ahsoka. Let's just give it, throw everything we can at that show. And honestly, if it's shaping up to be the way that we think it's going to be, that was probably the right move. Mike follows up and says, I don't think we have. And then he said, seen the staff. I don't think we have either, but Tony's saying it's in my Discord. So I'm going to have to go check it out. I don't want to pull it up because we're still working out the kinks on the stream. Up and the stream will crash, and I'm not going to worry about it. See, we almost crashed right there. So we're not going to pull it up. Let's see. Senator Tony, you said it's not a live action picture. It's a concept picture that was shown in the trailer. Okay. I feel like I kind of remember that in the Discord now, but so it's not from the trailer. I'm like, there's no way we've seen the staff in the trailer. I've seen every single trailer probably 50 times, and I don't remember that. And I'm going to be on the lookout for Ahsoka the White. That's for sure. So, okay, I'll go find it in the Discord after this. Okay, so we've talked about everything we know from, or what we can expect based off the rumors from what we suspect episode 1 through 5. Episode 5 being that time where we assume maybe they start to go into the new beyond. And then that's where things get crazy. And like I said, if Lucasfilm is following the same pattern with the marketing, everything that we see in the trailers from is probably going to come from episodes 1 through 4, most likely, maybe 5. So the question then becomes, what are we going to see next? What are we going to see next? Well, we know that if they're going to go to the New Beyond, there was a rumor way back when, at the beginning of the year, when I first started making videos about how there's going to be reforged stormtroopers. Reforged stormtroopers with, it's like I think it's like a Japanese concept or word. I can't remember what it is. Someone can post it in the chat if you remember. But they're like supposed to be reforged with like a gold glow. Absolutely sounds insane. At first, when I heard it, I was like, this is wild. Like, this doesn't even make any sense for Star Wars. That was my first reaction. But then I took a step back, like, it doesn't make sense for Star Wars because this is nothing like we've seen lately. There's nothing to compare this to. Not even really in the sequel trilogy, or certainly, I mean, this is just brand new territory. But that's where Dave thrives the best. He takes these risks. Giant Loth Wolves, the Mortis arc, even though George was involved at that point. The World Between Worlds, these things that you would say, oh, that's not Star Wars, turn out to be the things that make Star Wars, and that's what Dave is so good at. And so the Reforged Stormtroopers, while I am a little bit concerned, there really is no reason to be concerned, I guess. Like, it'll may look strange at first just because we're not used to it. But I think that I think we're in for a treat, because not only are we going to get reforged stormtroopers, it's said that the New Beyond is supposed to be the origin place of the Night Sisters. And so we could see some dark side magic going on, potentially new aspects of the Force, which leads me into Ezra Bridger. Ezra Bridger is said to be using Force karate. Now, if that doesn't get you hype, I don't know what will. Force karate that's something. It's like he's gonna. The rumors I heard is he's gonna be able to like almost do like I don't know, like blast force. I don't know what you would call it. I'm not into the anime stuff. It's probably something anime related. But I think that the Force karate is going to be a thing. Again, these are all just rumors at this point, but that will be really interesting. And I think Sabine will probably continue to use Ezra's lightsaber. Got a couple of chats to catch up here. Journeyman says the hype is there. However, let's see if they execute their orders, unlike sequels or Kenobi. You're so not optimistic. It kills me just a little bit, but I know you've been burned so much, and that's just it. So all I can say is it's Dave Filoni, Journeyman, and he hasn't disappointed yet. The closest thing to Dave Filoni disappointing us is perhaps the Book of Boba Fett, but I don't put that on Dave Filoni. Like, I'm pretty sure Dave was an executive producer on that. Like, just throw it at Jon Favreau, and like, yes, was the Book of Boba Fett disappointing, but it wasn't like terrible. So this is literally written by Dave Filoni. Do you think he's really going to mess up his favorite character, his baby, his literal baby in Star Wars? He's not going to mess it up. He's put so much thought into this. He's probably been thinking about this. Obviously, he's been thinking about this for years. He's had time to think about this. The Book of Boba Fett's problem was it was just thrown together probably in a week. Honestly, it probably was just like Kathleen was like, John, go make up something. It has to be good. Figure it out in a week and come back to me. That's what the Book of Boba Fett felt like. And it was still okay. I mean, you got Luke Skywalker and Ahsoka. Ahsoka was literally in the Book of Boba Fett. So I just wait and see. Just wait and see. Tony says, I wish I can post it here, but you have to see it in the trailer and on Discord. I will. I'll make sure to go check it out after this. Are we going to discuss the dead person in the latest trailer? The dead person? Tony, what trailers are you watching? What is there a dead person in the latest trailer? Let me know who do we know who the dead person is? I don't know. Mike says, off topic, but the setup looks great. Quality video. I don't know if you're being sarcastic, Mike, but if the quality video, we're getting there. Just literally using the camera on my computer. We'll have a Revenge of the Sith poster up eventually with hopefully some lights we'll make it. It'll be a little bit more aesthetically pleasing, but I appreciate it, man. You are the best. SB says, please, please let Force Karate not be true. Follows up and says, I heard that nonsense is in the Acolyte, which makes sense since Trinity is in it. I don't know what Trinity is. I'm kind of with you, though. Well, Mike says, why not? He has no saber. It sounds awesome. It's true. It's true. Um, I don't know though. I have mixed feelings about it. But that's Dave Filoni, right? As we were just talking about, is he takes those risks. And at first you're like, this isn't Star Wars. I've never seen that before. But then, a year from now, we're going to be like, this is absolutely Star Wars. Everybody needs to do Force Karate. If you're not doing Force Karate, you're missing out. So, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Journeyman says it will be great. Or I'm sorry, this is Mike says, Journeyman, it will be great. Wait and see. I agree with that. Wait and see, Journeyman. Wait and see. Senator Tony says the very last one. The very last one has a dead person in it. Which part? Let me know which part. Journeyman says, are you sure you're watching the right trailers or a Dateline episode? The dead people in the trailer. Tony, you are throwing some. You get me excited. I'm just like all these things. I can't keep up. But there's been a lot of trailers too. It's possible I missed the last trailer. I can't keep up. Mike says no sarcasm. It really has come a long way. I appreciate it. Yeah, we'll get some posters and things up, and it will look a lot better in the very near future. Hoping that we'll get that. It's supposed to come in next week sometime, but I don't think it's going to be here before the first 2 episodes drop. So next Tuesday, we're going to be doing our prediction stream, 8 o'clock Central. So make sure you stop by for that. We're going to be predicting what we think happens in episodes 1 and 2. These 2 episodes will drop at what is it, Central Time? 2 o'clock a.m. in the morning. So not going to be doing a watch party, but hey, a guy who loves Star Wars is in the chat right now. Go check out Mike's stream because he's doing a watch party, and that's probably where I'll be. I'm not going to be able to get everything set up and come do a live stream. We don't have that technology yet. So, but go check out his stream. He's the absolute best, and he has channel memberships now. So go make sure you check out his channel and his channel memberships. Would love to have him come on and we can chat about Star Wars sometime. So be sure to go check out his watch party next week. SB says the actress Carrie Ann Moss, who's in The Acolyte, played Trinity in The Matrix. Gotcha. I know what you're saying now. Senator Tony says when Baylan and Ahsoka are fighting, okay, there's a dead person. And then he followed up and said, you have to look very closely and slow down the trailer to 0.25 speed. Okay. I will go do that. Is it anybody like special? That sounds terrible, but like, is it anybody we know, or do we just assume that it's a dead person? I mean, I know in the trailer, like they show up on this like forest like planet, and I think Baylan and Shin have like almost like an army of some sorts. Like they have a squad of people. So, I don't know. I haven't seen. I don't remember seeing the dead body, but I know that they do have like some people with them, and obviously Ahsoka is going to probably destroy them. And that's the same. At the same time, we see the Ahsoka has only one lightsaber, and I think her hand is a little bit scarred or something. So she's going to go through it for sure. The question I keep coming back to is obviously it's like the same planet we see Baylan and this Ahsoka fighting is the same planet we see Shin and Sabine fighting at one point, and we also see the Inquisitor and Ahsoka fighting. Do we think that Ahsoka and the Inquisitor are going to face off first, or do you think Ahsoka and Baylan? I think it's probably going to be Ahsoka Inquisitor. That's probably where she'll get banged up, and then she has to go face Baylan. Yeah, it's so wild. It's so wild that like literally, like part of me is like, okay, they've literally every scene in the trailer is a lightsaber fight. I mean, honestly, that's not exactly true, but you know what I mean? There's so many lightsaber fights, so many, like, even if you're not clashing with lightsabers, Ahsoka's cutting through droids. It's wild. It's wild, the marketing. And I'm like, are they giving us everything and we're just not going to see any more cool stuff? But then I'm like, we haven't even seen the new Beyond. We've seen Thrawn one time. Like, what is the second half of this season going to look like? Journeyman, if you're not excited, I don't know how to make you more excited. Mike says, definitely getting the pod going soon together. Nerd Theory needs some real competition. I am ready whenever you are, my friend. Senator Tony says, I won't stay. I can't remember. I don't remember what that is in reference to. Scrolling up. I'm not sure. Oh, wait. You're saying I won't say who the dead person is? Tony, you're throwing me for a loop here. Who's the dead person? Now I got to go watch the trailer and hop on the Discord after this. And I think he might be talking about Sabine helmet, but I may be wrong. Oh, Sabine's helmet in the trailer? Like, I got to go watch these trailers in slow motion, I guess. I just watch them on Twitter and then that's that. I guess I need to go on YouTube and slow down the trailer and take my time, apparently. Dang, I miss all the good stuff. But I know who it could be. Is it Sabine? I don't know. We'll see. Journeyman says, by the way, I do really hope it's good for everybody's sake so I can finally share my thoughts on the show as I've tried to stay away from a lot of the rumors and theories out there. Yeah, I'm not going into, I know you don't like the spoilers, Journeyman. I'm not going into any of the spoilers. These are just leaks and rumors. They could be true. They're coming mostly from making Star Wars. They're probably in the ballpark of true. However, we're still on around the episode 5. We're talking about everything we know about Ahsoka. The World Between Worlds has long been rumored to be a big part of this show. Now, if you were in the stream last night, shout out to Senator Tony for being there the whole time. Thank you, Tony, for your support. But I can't remember what article it was recently. It may have been Making Star Wars or Bespin Bulletin or Star Wars News Net. I can't remember. But basically the World Between Worlds was it basically, I'm not sure we're going to see the World Between Worlds is what I'm trying to say. I think what most likely what we're going to see is a variation of the World Between Worlds. And I think that we're going to see it on a Jedi temple. And that's where Ahsoka is going to have visions. I don't know. I just don't think we're going to see the World Between Worlds. No, not that scene, Senator Tony says. SB says, I think all those clips are from the first 2 episodes. I agree with you. I was actually thinking the same thing, but I'm like, no. Surely they wouldn't do that. But then I start thinking, maybe they would. I mean, you're talking an hour and 30 minutes, right? An hour and 30 minutes based off of the rumored runtimes. And you're talking about, I mean, they've released a lot of trailers, but for the first time, I think that they obviously could fit all of those trailers into those first 2 episodes. I think you might be right, SB. I was thinking the same thing, so I'm glad that there's someone else on the same page as me. Senator Tony says, it's at the Red Forest Temple fight with Baylan and Ahsoka. Yeah, okay. I'll go check it out. And watch it in slow motion. Mike says, gotta go. Glad to catch you live. Much love. Everyone smash a gosh darn like on this video. What are you watching for? Mike said it, not me. Mike said it, not me. But I appreciate you, Mike. We'll talk to you soon. Senator Tony says, theories can drive me crazy, but for the most part, they are interesting and creative. I know. Yeah, sometimes, even myself, I get carried away, come up with the wildest things. But the wildest things are the most fun. The catcher is you can't let yourself get carried away to the point where if they don't happen the way you expect them to in the actual product, that you get disappointed, because that's my problem. I learned my lesson hardcore with The Mandalorian Season 3. Went off the hype of The Mandalorian Season 2, all the cameos that we saw, Ahsoka, Bo-Katan, which obviously we saw Bo-Katan, but just that level of excitement and that nostalgia you felt in The Mandalorian Season 2, coming up with all these wild theories for what we could see in The Mandalorian Season 3, and then really none of them happened. And And so the catcher, I think, Tony, is at least for myself, is theorize, have fun, speculate, talk about it, but don't be disappointed when it doesn't actually happen the way you think it's going to. The dead person is in the background on the floor next to one of the pillars, in between Ahsoka and Baylan fighting. Interesting. Okay, I'm gonna go check it out after this for sure. Okay, so we were talking about the reforged stormtroopers. I think that I mean, we also there's this character, this talk about a character named Enoch who has like a gold mask and might even have a lightsaber. I can't remember for sure. Hasn't been a lot of like articles written about this person in particular. SB says, I need to run. Just discovered your channel tonight. I'll try to keep up with future videos and streams. Thank you so much, Senator, for your support. SB will look forward to you joining in the future. I appreciate it. But yeah, there's this character Enoch who's said to be like Thrawn's bodyguard or something, maybe dabbling in Force, in Sith, or not Sith, but dark side magic, maybe a Force user themselves. I don't know. And I've even wondered maybe Enoch is bigger and badder than Thrawn, although the rumors are that it is Thrawn's bodyguard. I don't know. And so you have rumors of that. We talked about Ezra Bridger's Force karate. There are leaks, and I think these are true and confirmed, so I'm not going to discuss them. But there are leaks about the ending and what we know about the ending. Not going to talk about them, but they're supposedly fantastic. So not only are we going to start off with a banger at the beginning, as it sounds like, but we're also going to be talking about a fantastic ending as well, and then everything in between. It's going to be fantastic. I don't know what we're going to do with ourselves when the Ahsoka show is done. It's been just as much fun to speculate and theorize about this as it has been, as it will be, I think, to watch it. And then once we're done, it'll be even more theorizing and speculating, I guess. I don't know. It'll be just so fun. Let's see here. Oh, we just read that one. Senator Tony says, SB, great to have you on the channel. Yes, thank you, SB, for being a part of the channel. And thank you, Senator Tony and Journeyman and Mike, for all joining me tonight. It's been an absolute blast. And the last thing that we have to talk about, even though we've kind of alluded to it already, is the flashback. And I think it might be a very short scene, so don't get your hopes up, anybody. Don't get your hopes up. But I think we're going to see a sequence between Ahsoka and Anakin, where Ahsoka's potentially, and this, when you first said a dead body, Senator Tony, this is where I thought you were going. I was like, no, they didn't show this in the trailer. But supposedly we're going to be seeing a dead Obi-Wan Kenobi. Ahsoka's going to have a vision. The sequence is going to be on Mustafar, as if she never left the Jedi Order. She's standing over a dead Obi-Wan Kenobi, ready to confront Darth Vader, Anakin, before he's turned into Darth Vader in the suit and everything. And they may battle it out, they may not. I don't know. I think the sequence and the scene is going to be rather short, but wouldn't that just be something? And that's a pretty, like, coming from a pretty reliable source. Like, I'm almost certain that one's going to happen. The question is it going to happen in the World Between Worlds? I don't know. Still not entirely sure that we're going to see the World Between Worlds. But either way, it's going to be absolutely fantastic. I really hope that I think the thing I'm looking forward to most about this show, and SB mentioned it earlier, is the nostalgia. It's about time that the people who have grown up watching Star Wars, we got a little taste of it in The Mandalorian Season 2 with the Bo-Katan, the Ahsoka, the Boba Fett, and then the Luke at the end, right? And there's a reason that season is so popular. And it's not necessarily just because of the cameos. It's because every fan can enjoy it, whether you just started watching Star Wars or you've been watching Star Wars since the 70s. There's a toy for everybody. Everyone can enjoy it. And I think that this season of Ahsoka, the show, is going to be just the same, but on a whole nother level. It's going to be even better. And so that's what I think I'm most excited for, is the nostalgia and the potential for these just emotionally gripping scenes, all the way from when we see in the trailer say, I never got to finish my training with Anakin. Well, we know why, and we know what happens to Anakin. And she goes, I left him. And then all the way to Anakin spoke highly of you. That's in the trailer as well. And like I said, I think that scene we're going to see Baylan taunt her and be like, Anakin spoke highly of you. Few would come to know what he became. And he's going to be like, yeah, it was your fault. That was your fault. You left him. It's going to be kind of like the actual, like, in-person, like, physical, what happens when Ahsoka's in the Lothal temple, and Anakin, she has that vision of Anakin, and then the Anakin turns into Vader right there. Do you know what I became? And Anakin's like, why did you do this to me? There's a reason why that scene is in Rebels. It's because Ahsoka struggles with the fact that Anakin become Vader. You know, when we see her at the end of Clone Wars, the assumption is she thinks Anakin died. So at first she has to come to terms with the fact that her master died. She doesn't feel him anymore. He did die in some senses. Anakin died and became Vader. She loses that connection with him through the Force. And then not only does she have to come over that grief, and she eventually probably comes to terms with it, then she realizes, oh, he didn't die. He became Vader. And Vader is a Sith Lord. And so she has to relive it all over again. But instead of it being a bad dream, it becomes her worst nightmare. And we're going to see her in this series, I'm convinced, having to deal with that more than ever. And so that's why I'm so excited. Senator Tony says Ahsoka wishes she could see Obi-Wan kill Grievous. Yeah. Wouldn't that be something? Wouldn't it be so cool if we got to see Ahsoka in Revenge of the Sith? That would have just been so cool. I don't know if we would have felt the same way about her character now, though, if we had seen her in live action before. Actually, we probably would have. It's Ahsoka. Amen on the nostalgia and respecting the current and former fans. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, Journeyman. Like, we're in good hands on this one because, like I said, Mando Season 2 delivered. I know you like Mando Season 2. It's just going to be on a whole nother level. I think it's going to be that on a whole nother level. So I don't think we have anything to worry about. I posted the Ahsoka Brown concept picture in the Discord thread I started today. Thank you, Tony. That'll make it easy to find, so I appreciate that. I'll go take a look at that. I think that's covers pretty much everything that we know. As far as the rumors that we're hearing, we're literally 6 days away. At this time, a week from now, we will have seen the first 2 episodes of the Ahsoka show. Like I've said already, make sure you stop by on Tuesday next week, where we're going to be doing a prediction stream of what we think is going to happen in just the first 2 episodes. So we did a kind of a large overview tonight, but we're going to dive into the nitty gritty into what we think will happen 1 and 2, and then we'll carry that on for the entirety of the series, streaming on Tuesday, talking about our predictions, and then on Wednesday night. So I'll probably get up early and watch the episodes maybe 1 or 2 times in the morning. That way we can come fully prepared to have a fantastic discussion on Wednesday nights, 8 p.m. Central. We'll get into all the details about the Ahsoka show. Maybe we'll even have a special guest on. I know, Journeyman, I need to get you on here. So I think with that, we're going to call it for tonight. The stream in this session is adjourned. May the Force be with you all, always.